See, this is why talking to friends is so good about, hey, what did you do and what didn't you do? If you have a friend that has done something, it is so exciting to learn about it. And you just say, oh my gosh, tell me everything that you did. Ask this question. What didn't you do that you wish you would have? That's where the magic lies. And that's why I'm here to tell you these things.
Hey there, and welcome to the Digital Nomad Family Podcast. This is the place where families who have or want to have a nomadic lifestyle come together to talk about the highs and lows that this life brings. We celebrate the joys and support each other in the hard. So, if you are a digital nomad family or will be in the future, this is the place for you. We're glad you're here.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Digital Nomad Family Podcast. I hope that you all are doing well and just enjoying wherever you are. I think that that's a little tidbit in this lifestyle that gets a little overlooked. I say that from experience. There have been places that we haven't enjoyed, and some places that you just feel like, oh man, I have those itchy feet. I'm ready to go to the next place. But I do think it's important to just remind ourselves, hey, enjoy where we are. So push through. If you're not enjoying it, find a way to enjoy it. Trust me, I have been there. I know I keep saying I need to do an episode about some of the negative stuff that we've experienced, and I try to put it in there. I try to be super real in these episodes. But man, we were in Peru for almost 6 months, and that was too long. It just was. And I need to talk about that more. So if you are in a season where you feel like I've been here too long, I get it. I'm actually living that again right now, and not in a bad way, but we have been extending our time here in Costa Rica. That's where we are right now. I don't think I said that in the last episode. So we're still in right outside of San Jose. I mean, right outside. We're super, super close to San Jose. And we've been here a long, long time, and it's been really, really good, but it's been a long time. And if you're a traveler, a long time looks different than it does for other people. We've been here now for about 7 months, and that's a long time. And I know I appreciate this audience so much because when I say that, you go, wow, yeah, that's a long time. And so I just hope that you are enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, find time to find something you enjoy about it. Even if it's just a little cookie shop and you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know we had these cookies here, or whatever. Just find something to try to make the time better for yourself, because we don't know how long we have. That's why we're called Family of Dashes. Again, another episode I really need to do and explain that. But we don't know how much time we have. And so we don't want to, waste it in negative emotions. So enjoy where you are. And I hope you're enjoying where you are. I would love to know where you are. I would love to know where you're listening to this at. And so if you want to just shoot me an email or an Instagram message, whatever, we are going to get a little more active on our Instagram in the next couple weeks. Thank you so much for your grace towards us in that, because it's just been so much here in Costa Rica that something had to give. And for a while it was the podcast, and now thankfully the podcast is up because I genuinely love doing this. But the Instagram definitely had to take a backseat, and it probably will for a couple more weeks, but we'll get there. We'll get there, right? It's all about timing and grace with yourself, realizing we can't do it all, right? So I hope you had the opportunity to listen to the previous episode, because this episode is going to tack on right to it. And so if you haven't, pause this one. I'm not going anywhere, I promise. When you push play again, it'll be right here. That's the wonderfulness of podcast world. But go listen to the previous one, because it talks about the amazing Amazon River Lodge that we stayed at. And if you are interested in going into the Amazon rainforest, this is the place to go. I will be hard pressed to say that there is another place. It was amazing. And I can't do enough justice to just say how incredible it was. And in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit more. There's a lot of information, and so I'm going to go kind of fast because I don't want this to be an hour-long episode, but I feel like this is all very important stuff to know about if you're going to go into this lodge. And so I just want to really give you everything that I think you need. But if you have a question about a specific that I didn't cover, shoot me an email or an Instagram message. I still get on Instagram. I just don't do anything with Instagram. How many times have we all been there, right? And so shoot me a message and I will do my best to answer that question. So let's just jump right in. So a lot of people asked us, well, where did you go exactly? How did you get there? Very valid question. We flew from Lima, Peru into Iquitos, Peru. And Iquitos is actually an island. Like you can't drive to it. And so you have to either boat to it or fly to it. People fly to it. That's just what you do. I don't remember how much the flights were, but they were not that expensive because you're just flying. It's a domestic flight. And so it's not bad at all. And it was a really smooth flight. I remember that. Really great flight. You get to fly over the mountains. And so that's really cool. We didn't actually have the opportunity to spend time in the mountains. And so being able to fly over some of them was really, really, really cool. But we flew into Quitos, and Quitos is a really cool city. It's very hot. So just to be prepared, it's just hot, guys. It's just hot. And if you can't tell in my melodramatic voice right now, I don't love the hot. I am not a high maintenance person. And it's so funny because a friend here and we were just joking about this. I really am not that high maintenance. And then she goes, really? I'm like, I'm really not. But we all have our things, right? And I really do care about the temperature. I don't want it to be too cold and I don't want it to be too hot. And in Iquitos, you're looking at 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's around 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Those are like what you need to just be prepared for. Be prepared for 30 Celsius, 90 Fahrenheit. Like just have that in your head going into this city. And then it was the same when we were in at the actual lodge. And so I'll get to the clothes in a minute, but when you hear that, you're tempted to just go, oh my gosh, well, I'm going to be in shorts and I'm going to be in a tank top. And that's not a great choice either. I'll explain why in a little bit, but it is hot. So just be prepared for that. We flew into Quitos and we had an Airbnb, super basic. They advertised it as a 3-bedroom, which was so fantastic because what made it was one room, and then they took sheets and they hung the sheets up. And so the sheets were our walls. And so, which it was fine. It worked for us. It was super cheap. And that's what we wanted. We just wanted when we're just staying somewhere one night, we had to hold the bathroom door shut for one another because the bathroom door wouldn't stay shut. But, the town of Iquitos is so cool. As we were walking around, the kids kept saying, this feels like New Orleans. This feels like New Orleans. And it does. It has a very New Orleans, even in some elements, European vibe, which was really cool because our family loves Europe. And so that was really fun to experience a different place like that in Peru. And it had all kinds of stuff there. Just fantastic. If you want to stay in Iquitos for a little bit, you could find some stuff to do. We just did one museum. It was just a little museum about the indigenous people. And there was a man standing outside who really wanted to be our tour guide. If you've never experienced that in your travels, you will at some point. Just a dude who has information. It's not like he doesn't know anything, but he's not connected with the museum at all. The museum is totally free. But he was like, oh, I'll give you a tour. And so we let him, and then we gave him a little tip. Not a big deal. But that's really all we did in Quitos. We ate at a couple restaurants because we were. Could I get this sentence out? Let's try again. These are the things I think I should edit that out. And then people are like, I love how real you are. This is my realness right here. Things that I should edit out that other like better podcasters are like, I can't believe you put that in there. Yep, I do. We only ate out a couple times. Our Airbnb did not have a place to cook. It was just a room because why? I wasn't going to buy groceries. So that's how we handled it. But we flew in, we spent the night, and then the following morning, they picked us up from our Airbnb, the lodge. When I say they, I'm talking about the lodge. And it was actually our guide, Eddie. Eddie picked us up with a driver. And so, we had Eddie from minute one. Eddie was there. And Eddie took us back to our Airbnb. We actually booked the same Airbnb for the night before we went to the lodge and then the night after we got back into Iquitos from the lodge because it was just easier. I couldn't be bothered to find another Airbnb. So I was like, hey, these dates work. It's cheap. Let's do it. And so that's how that worked. Then when we got picked up, they took us out to the boat and we boated out. It was about 2.5 to 3 hours to get out to the lodge. And the cool thing about this lodge is it is actually on the Amazon River. We went in low tide, or not low tide, but we went in dry season, so everything was a lot lower. And I talked about that and some of the pros and cons about that in the last episode, but I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there are pros and cons to both. If you want to write me about it, I'll totally tell you more about it. And then we had to take we got off the bigger boat that we were on. We got into a smaller boat and then we went up this little, by the time about 3 days later, this had dried up also. And so we actually had to walk out. It wasn't a bad walk. We had to walk out to the actual Amazon River to get on our boats because this little stream that we were on, because it was dry season and everything was drying up. And so when we got there, some of the general overview of the facilities, if you will, is our cabin had 5 beds, 4 twin beds, one for each kid, and then a double bed for Eric and I. And that was fine. They do have bug nets, which was really helpful at nighttime, or if you just wanted a little break from getting bitten by a mosquito. You could just go lay on your bed or just sit there. And it had a bathroom. It didn't have a tub. It just had the shower. And the water is ambient temperature. But that's not a big deal because you're not going to want a hot shower. I promise. I am a hot shower fanatic. And so much so that I'll get out and my skin is red, right? It's almost a problem. But even I was like, nope, this is perfect. It took me maybe 30 seconds to get used to it, but it's not cold, it's ambient because they're just in water tanks outside. And so it's still warm water. And so it surprises you maybe just a little bit when you get in it, but then you love it and it's great. And so as far as when you're thinking about the ages of your family, just keep in mind there's no tub. And so either you'll have to help a little one shower, or if people are of the age where they can shower themselves, totally fine. But there is no bathtub. And then all of the meals are eaten in the dining hall. So we had our cabin, and then there was the dining hall. And those were the 2 facilities. Those were the 2 buildings that we went in. Other than that, we were outside, which isn't bad. The dining room is a larger open space with tables, and the meals are eaten community style, but there's enough tables where as long as it's not super crowded, you could eat just by yourself. And so there were most of the meals, us Dinglers just ate together. It wasn't bad at all. But you could talk to the other guests there, and most of the guests speak English. There wasn't anyone there that didn't speak English, because even if they were from a European country, which we had several people there in and out the time we were there that were from European nations, and so they spoke English. And then if there was someone from South American country or even Peru. I mean, Peru is South American, but I'm saying like if it was an international tourist into Peru, then they usually spoke English also. And so it was really cool to get to know people a little bit, hear their stories, and just talk to them. And the food was delicious always. There wasn't a single thing that we were like, oh, this. Like, they have some things that they cook a decent amount of. And so yuca, they cooked a decent amount of yuca, but it was delicious. And so I never looked at my plate and went, oh, yuca. No, it was like, oh, okay, there's yuca. It was good. And that was really nice. And then as far as another thing that they offer, they can do your laundry, but we didn't have them do our laundry, so I can't really speak into that. But I know that they do it. So we actually took enough quick dry clothes so that we could do laundry ourselves. And then we took a clothesline and we put it up outside. They didn't care at all. It was near our house, like near our cabin. And so we just put it in the sun. We also took a hammock, but I'll get to all like what we took here in a minute. But they didn't care that we took that stuff at all. They're so chill. And that's why I love chill, calm, down to earth people. Those are the people I want to be with because that's us. I'm like, listen, there's 6 of us. We're loud. We're definitely American. Like, we say that the dinglers bring the party. Like, that's just what we say. And so they didn't mind any of that. So let's talk packing list. I'm going to go really quick right now because I don't want to spend too long on it. So clothes. Take long sleeve shirts and lightweight pants. And when I say pants, I mean long pants, not shorts. Take lightweight, flowy pants, but you're going to want them. And the reason I say this is because I didn't. And at one point, even with bug spray, even taking bug spray in my day pack on our hikes, at one point I had over 200 mosquito bites on my legs. And that was miserable. There was an afternoon where I wasn't in pain, but I was uncomfortable. And so Eric just stood, like I laid on our bed on my stomach because it was usually like most of them were on the back of my legs. And I just laid on my stomach and Eric just fanned my legs to try to give some relief to them. And we were told to bring pants. This is not on the lodge. This is on Marissa. This was my fault. I didn't listen. I took shorts because I was like, I don't want to be hot. And I suffered because of it. So take long sleeve clothing, but make sure it's very light. You just want a very light. Find the lightest material possible, but you want it to cover your skin. That's great for the bugs and it's good for the sun. If you're out on the water a lot, like if you do some fishing, you're going to want sunscreen and that kind of stuff. So that also helps protect you from the sun. And then another thing that would be nice to have, again, we didn't, but I wish we would have, is some type of handkerchief to wipe the sweat away because you sweat a lot. It's hot. You're in the rainforest. There's no way around it. And I'm not complaining. It's just a fact. It'd be like saying, oh, we're going to go visit the Arctic Circle. Well, it's probably going to be cold. Like, we're going to go to Antarctica. It's probably going to be cold. And so, like, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's hot and you're going to sweat. And so having like a handkerchief or something that you can just throw in your pocket, I wish I would have had that because I found myself grabbing my shirt, like grabbing the collar of my shirt and wiping my face. But then like your shirt's all yucky and you don't want that. And so, so I wish we would have had some handkerchiefs for all of us, like one for each person. That would have been really nice. You are going to want to take socks because you have to wear rubber boots. The lodge provides boots for you, because that helps protect you from any animals that might be on the paths that you're walking or just sticks, that kind of stuff. So you have to wear their rubber boots. And so you're going to want socks. In our family, there's only one sock and it's called Darn Tough. And if you've heard me talk about clothing at all, you are like, Marissa, we know you love the socks. Yes. Darn Tough is the only socks that we wear. I am not paid by them. They don't even know who I am. But I promise you, they are the best socks in the world. So if you're in the United States, they're made in Vermont. You can get them through their website. You can get them through REI. You can get them from Amazon, I think. There's so many ways you can get them, but get some. They're the best socks. And They're wool. And so you might think, oh, my foot's going to get too hot. It doesn't. I wore them the entire time and my feet never got super hot. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I was totally fine. And they also dry really fast. And so I was able to wash them and then have them, as long as I put them in the sun, I could have them for the next day. That was great. Quick dry clothing. If you're going to be there for a while. We were there for 9 days and we don't pack a lot. We live out of carry-on. And so we took quick dry clothing with a clothesline and we just washed it up in the shower with us, or like if you need to do a little sink load, not a big deal. And then we hung it up because it's quick dry. You put it in the sun, it's done. Super great. If you're only going to be there for a little bit, don't worry about doing your own laundry. If you're only there for 3 days, not a big deal. The only reason we did it is because we were there for 9 days and we were gone for 11 days total when you think about being in Iquitos for 1 day at the beginning and the end. And so we needed to be able to do laundry and quick dry works for us. But I would definitely I would encourage you to have some type of wicking clothing. Don't just have some cotton shirts. You're going to be uncomfortable. So even if you don't want to do a quick dry thing, think wicking. A hat for the boats is really nice because it is sunny a lot. It's very sunny. And so it's nice to just have a hat to throw on, a swimming suit or clothes that you can swim in. There is a creek that we were able to play in. It's on the lodge's property and it was just behind our house. And so we could walk down there and the kids could play in the stream and that was really fun. And then also we swam in the Amazon River. A lot of people do. And so you're going to want something to swim in or at least clothes that you don't mind getting totally wet. And for us, kind of our schedule was, I talked about this a little bit last episode, but people would shower either after lunch, or usually that's when almost everybody showered, is after lunch. Some people did shower after dinner, but that after lunch period when you have that break and it's really hot, that was a really nice time to shower. And so because of this, we'd be doing laundry almost every day, a little bit, just like here, I'm going to wash this shirt. And then after my shower, I'm going to change into something that's not covered in sweat. And so because of that, it was a little, just the timing of it, but it worked for us. It wasn't a big deal. Because there was nothing else to do. So I'm like, I don't mind standing in the water longer and washing some clothes. Something else I would encourage that we didn't do is I would take pajamas. We are not a pajama family. Some people are. We are not. We're very much I have some athletic shorts that I'll wear during the day, or I can use them as pajamas. Not a big deal. My shirts, I don't mind using them during the day and sleeping in them. Not a big deal. Like clean ones. I'm not talking like I wear the same clothes for like 48 hours. I'm not saying that. But we don't have, these are my pajamas. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But I wish we would have for this trip because that would have made just figuring laundry out a lot easier. Like, what are you going to wear? Like, are you going to change after your shower tonight and then sleep in that? And then what are you going to wear tomorrow? Whereas if we would have just had 1 or 2 pairs of just pajamas, like, hey, that's what I'm sleeping in. So I would encourage taking a set of, these are my sleeping clothes. Even if it's not a set of pajamas, I'm not saying you have to go out and buy pajamas, but even if you take a pair of like athletic shorts and a shirt and you just know in your head, I'm only sleeping in these, I'm not going to do anything else, I would encourage that. And yeah, that's what we took for clothing. Let's talk about phones, electronics, etc. We had our phones, but there is zero service there. None. There's no service. It wasn't even a possibility. But we use our phones for our pictures. And so if that's you as well, you're probably going to have your phone anyways because you're traveling. Like you're going to have your phone. Put it in airplane mode because that's going to save the battery a lot. And in our room, it looked like there was an outlet, but it didn't work. And maybe we were doing something wrong. I don't know. And maybe it wasn't an outlet. We were really confused by it. And so I don't know. It probably wasn't even an outlet. And we were just like, this looks like a plug. It didn't work. I don't know. But there is a place that you can charge things in the dining hall. And so what we would do is we had a couple anchors and battery, like portable chargers, battery packs. We love Anchor chargers. They're super really good quality. And so we would take our anchors and charge them up in the dining room. And we were in the dining room a decent amount. And then that's what we would use in the cabin at nighttime to charge our phones. But since it lived 100% of the time, from the time we got on the boat in Iquitos to the time we got back to Iquitos, our phone was in airplane mode because you don't have service. And so that saved the battery a lot. And so really it wasn't hard to keep up on keeping our phones charged at all. If you have a lot of electronics, then I would encourage you to, think through like, okay, I'm going to take this battery pack for this one for this one, and just like have it planned out in your head, depending on how long you're staying there. But it worked fine for us. And we just took the anchors up to the dining room, plugged them in there. Not a big deal. And no one ever bothered them. It was fine. We could even leave the dining room and it was fine. No one did anything to them. Another thing we took was a pair of binoculars. You don't have to. The lodge does have a couple pairs that you can borrow, but if you have a pair, I would encourage you to take them. And another thing I would encourage you is with kids, practice. Using binoculars it's a skill, and it takes practice. It takes figuring out, okay, here's how I adjust it. Here's how I find something, because it's really frustrating for younger kids. There were times where the rest of us could see something through the binoculars, but Ryan would struggle a little bit. And that was frustrating for him because the rest of us are seeing this monkey and he can't see the monkey. It's not because he can't physically see it. It's because he doesn't know how to use the binoculars. And so I would suggest practicing with binoculars. Even if you think you know how to use a pair, just be like, oh, I'm going to try to, as fast as I can, I'm going to find that light post. Or as fast as I can, I'm going to find that airplane up in the sky, whatever. And the more you practice, the faster you're going to get with it. And especially kids, because then you won't be standing in the jungle frustrated. Like, I didn't get to see the iguana or whatever. And another thing we took was some meds. No one in our family takes daily medication, but we do have a tree nut allergy. So of course we had our EpiPens and some allergy meds. And then I just took the regular family basics. We had some Tums and like Pepto-Bismol tablets in case someone got a stomach ache. We had ibuprofen. We had our allergy pills. Another thing I'm going to encourage you to take. See, this is why talking to friends is so good about, hey, what did you do and what didn't you do? If you have a friend that has done something, it is so exciting to learn about it. And you just say, oh my gosh, tell me everything that you did. Ask this question. What didn't you do that you wish you would have? That's where the magic lies. And that's why I'm here to tell you these things. One thing we did not take was medicine for bug bites. And so we were there for 9 days getting eaten by bugs when you're out in the jungle. And again, this is just the jungle. Like, it's not the lodge's fault. It's not anything. It's the jungle. And so getting eaten by bugs, and we have no type of itchy medicine. When I say itchy medicine, does that make me sound like a toddler? I'm sorry. I don't know what to call it. No type of cream that will alleviate the feeling of a mosquito itch. And that was really, really hard. Like, because all you want in that moment is a little bit of relief, especially when you have over 200 mosquito bites on your legs. And so you can go in Peru, it's super normal. In Iquitos, it's the same thing. Just walk into a pharmacy and ask them for like some type of bug bite medicine, okay? And you can translate that on your phone, it's fine. And get like a pharmacy strength. Get a couple things. But when we got back to Iquitos, we went directly. That was the first thing I did, is I went to a pharmacy. There was a pharmacy actually across the street from our Airbnb. And I walked straight there and I said, I want the strongest bug bite medication you have. And she gave me 2 things and they were great. And so just do that before. Just while you're in Iquitos, just pop into a pharmacy and just ask for some bug bite cream, for some what, I don't know, however you would call it. But ask them for some, and it's not expensive and it's worth it. Also, take bug spray. Yes, you will need it, and you're just going to want it. Will you still get bug bites? Probably, but I'm sure you won't get as many. And I put all of this stuff in a day pack. So I was the only one that carried a day pack. Occasionally Eric would, but only on like long days where we felt like we needed more water. And that leads us to water bottles. So in our day pack, I would have sunscreen, bug spray, water bottles, and I would usually put in a couple, like a little baggie of ibuprofen and Tums, just in case while we're out and about, someone gets a headache or someone's stomach starts to hurt. That way we have it. And that was all in my day pack. But water bottles, big ones, okay? It's hot and dehydration is a real possibility, and you don't want that. The lodge does have a lot of water. They do bring it in, like they have to bring it in from Iquitos. And so when we went, like on our boat, we had several water jugs to help out. But every time they bring a new group in, they're bringing water. They're bringing water and they're taking out trash. They're bringing food and they're taking out trash. Like that's just how it works. And so definitely have water bottles. We just did, like we went to a grocery store, like a pharmacy or something in Iquitos, and we just got 6 really big, just like water bottles, just like bottled waters. And then we just reused those the whole time we were there. We just kept refilling them. And so, yes, it's kind of annoying to have to carry it, but you need it. Like your body needs it and you're going to want it. So definitely have some type of water bottle. And then just a note, we did have our passports with us because that was our identification for flying from Lima to Iquitos, but they were totally safe in the room. Even when people would come in and clean the room, they never messed with them. They were totally fine. And so I didn't take them with us on our excursions, but I did have them in the room, which did make me feel better just in case there would have been an emergency. Because again, you're in the jungle. We could have had our IDs for medical reasons. So that was good. But no one messed with them. It was fine. I never felt like someone was going to try to steal them or anything. It was fine. And then that leads us to some things we brought that I'm glad we did. And the first is journals. After lunch, you have a break. And we had journal prompts for the kids. And I really like this for 2 reasons. One, it helped them think about things. And it would be like, I had all the journal prompts ready, but sometimes I would throw an audible in. So the very first night we were there, we went on a night hike. And so the following day, I changed the journal prompt to reflect the night hike and for them to think about, hey, how was I feeling at the beginning of the night hike? What were some concerns I had? How did the night hike actually go? And just all these things, right? And so we had journals, loved that. It helped them really think about stuff. And an added benefit is it forced them to sit down and relax their bodies. Because if you have kids, you know that sometimes it's hard to get 10-year-olds to just stop for a minute, right? Just like, hey, just relax. Especially if they don't have an iPad or a television. And maybe that's wrong, but in my house, that's just how it is. Ryan is 11 now, and he is go, go, go all the time. The only time he sits still, and not even then, he's still like fidgeting, is when we're watching a television show. But even then, he's like moving around. And so, I mean, he just has so much energy. But when you're out in the heat and your body is working so hard to just do these big hikes that you're doing and just not over, I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit now, but for me, that's what it felt like, because I'm not the healthiest person, guys. But your body does need that rest. And so this was a good like forced rest for the kids. And so I really appreciated that. We also took card games, which were really fun because in the evening time, that's what we would do. We would play card games. Since there's no cell phone service, you're not on your phone. Like you're totally disconnected, and it's fantastic. And the card games were a lot of fun. So I would encourage you to bring some card games and just go to the dining hall or even in your own cabin, just play some games together. It was great. We did download some audios for the nighttime to just help the kids relax. Our kids do not sleep with televisions or anything like that, but usually we do watch like an episode of our big thing is like AFV or like Lego Master or something like that. But we'll watch one episode of something before we go to bed. And so I knew that it might be a little bit of a hard transition for the kids. And so I downloaded several audio things on my phone. For us, it was this, it's like a radio series called Adventures in Odyssey. They are Christian. Some of them are outright like telling you the gospel and talking about Jesus. Others are just good life lessons, like how to be a good friend or how to be smart with the internet or just how to, I don't know, make good choices, right? And so our kids love Adventures in Odyssey. And so we downloaded several Adventures in Odysseys to listen to. And we would just play one at night. And that was really nice. And then we also had ebooks. And so I would like read a chapter of a book sometimes. Like that was really nice. So I'm really glad we had some ebooks for me to read to the kids. And they were only on my phone. So it's not like the kids were even like off on like something else. No, it was on my phone and I was the one reading, and it was like very much a together thing. And that was nice. And then audio things, which was really nice. You could do audio books. But yeah. And then we did, because this was just fun. And I'm so, so glad we did it. We brought one iPad, but we had downloaded Jungle Cruise, which is a movie on Disney Plus. I love Disney Plus. It's always in like my top 5 favorite apps. Like if you would listen to that episode, Disney Plus is there. And you have to go listen to find out my other 4. But Jungle Cruise is all about an adventure in the Amazon jungle. And it was so fun. After we had been there for a couple days and we had gone on some night hikes, done some day things, we were like, okay, tonight we're going to watch Jungle Cruise. And so I had it downloaded. Make sure you download it. Like if it's not downloaded, you're not watching it. And then we sat on Eric and I's bed and we just all like scrunched together and watched Jungle Cruise. And that was really fun because the kids like just remember that. And it was fun. And then the hammock. And we brought the hammock and we set that up, and that was really great. Eric took a nap in the hammock almost every single day, and he absolutely loved it. And so, yeah, so that brings us to the end. I know that was long, and I really appreciate you sticking through to the end. You are a good listener. So if you have any questions, please email me or find me on Instagram. Our Instagram profile is linked in the show notes. So feel free to just shoot me a question. But if you are looking for a place to go in the Amazon, this is it. Like you found it. This is where you want to go. The attention to detail for your family is amazing. I loved it so much. Anytime anyone talks about going to the Amazon jungle, I will point them to Amazon River Lodge every single time. And we paid our own way. This was not like they brought us out here for me to do this. No, like this was just something that the Dinglers did. And I am so glad we did it. So if you have any questions, shoot me a message or an email and I will do my best to answer it. With that, we're going to close this. I know it's long. Thank you for your patience. And I hope you enjoyed learning about the Amazon River Lodge. And wherever you are, I really do hope you continue to travel joyfully.